Hello everyone internet and thanks for tuning in. I'm RyuKiva of RyuKiva Toku.
And welcome to another episode of Toku Bros. I'm Dragon Zeron of the Tokusatsu Media Center. Yippee wow!
So, today we are talking about the 40th anniversary Sentai series, Dobutsu Sentai Zyuohger? Is that what it was called?
Yes.
Right. Are you ready for this?
I'm always ready.
Let's do it. So, let's see. What do you remember of Zyuohger building up to it being broadcast?
I remember people they kept on memeing the suits because it looked like these graphic design shirts that certain goth people would wear. Like it had like an animal on it.
Well, yeah, they all had animals on it.
I know, but like in America, there's a certain graphic shirt that sometimes weird people wear that shows the animal and stuff, and I got a lot of vibes from that, and I'm like, yo, is that what the new Zyuohger suits are getting it from?
Well,
I.
Okay, well,
But,
I will say, like, I remember seeing this, like, literally the first thing we all saw was the suits. Like, it was kind of like a really great, like, considering that you get all these like fake ones that are revealed, when the real ones were finally revealed, they were kind of like all the Rangers were stacked one on top of the other. And I remember looking at the suits, and I'm a bit like, what the fuck, kind of, because at the same time, it's like they clearly put a lot of effort into the designs that they drew on the suits. But then it's like, it's like, to me, it was like they took a Sharpie marker and just drew on like a design rather than coming up with like a uniform look. And then when you look at the colours, like, I remember the helmets looked really good, but then when you look at the colours, like, it just felt a little bit oversaturated in its simplicity.
very vibrant, like the green was a lot lighter than the usual green, and blue was a light blue we hadn't had in a while.
Totally.
And
to me, it was kind of like, like going with the animal theme once again. I was just like, another animal anniversary, which people did feel mixed about, but I felt, because I didn't like Gower Ranger, to be fair. But I was willing to give
yeah,
it a
Rangers
chance.
was alright. There was better shows though.
I was still holding out hope, and like I remember seeing the first look at the villains, and the villains looked pretty good. So I was like, right, I really am holding out for this.
I also remember when the suits came out, people kept on comparing it to Legos and stuff.
That was definitely the mecca. Like when it came to the rules of the mecca, I do remember like it was all about it's they're clearly going off the Minecraft bandwagon, like the popularity. Again, Sentai is no stranger to hopping on whatever the bandwagon is for the year or the year before. So like I wasn't too surprised. I'm just like, really, you've gone with Minecraft? But I'll talk a bit more about the mecha later on. When it came to the first episodes, though, like, I don't remember anything particularly standing out. But when it comes to our red, Zyo Eagle, like, they've gone with the names of the animals rather than the colours. So, Zyo Eagle, Yamato, I liked this kind of really sort of heartfelt, warm, compassionate character. Like, they gave him this vet background, which was the opposite to Gower Red, who ended up becoming a vet. So that was kind of cool. Like, like I guess they were kind of going for the nod kind of thing.
I don't know if you remember, but in the first episode, we got to see like actual stakes be put on, because usually Sentai they don't really like try to kill somebody, you know what I mean? But in this episode, they attempted to kill this kid. I think they
to be fair, they kind of do that a lot. Especially. To be fair, where I don't know anything about Showa Sentai, like, I remember the scenes of, I think it must have been either Bokenja or Gokaija, and like, you get those scenes where the kids are like running for their lives and you've got like a teacher sheltering them. So I do vaguely remember that for Zyuohger.
But I don't think.
But for me, those first episodes were about like you got these animals who then take on this bizarre human form, and like even throughout the series you kind of got this kind of play of like hiding it from the uncle and stuff, which is kind of cool. But I'll say that really They could have done so much more with their opening episodes, really.
Yeah, I do too. I would have liked to see like them trying to develop, like how did they go over here and stuff, like get over here through the Juro Cube, and why were they sent out? Because it does seem like these four heroes, Sela, Tusk, I don't know the other two names.
Right, we'll talk
Well,
about. Well, we'll get on to talking about the characters now. Actually, so like, yeah, I mean, just before us, I mean, literally, just kind of going into it. Like when it comes to Zyuohger, there was a lot of pressure on it. I mean, even though I wasn't personally the biggest fan of Gokaiger was quite popular amongst the fans when it was the 35th anniversary. So this being the 40th, I'd have put a bit more effort in, but then. Yeah, but so yeah, that was the pressure that I felt Zyuohger had on it. But when it comes to the cast, I will say, to reiterate, I did love Yamato's kind of warm and mild personality, but in the long run, it felt bland. When it came to Tusk, Zio Elephant, the green, I felt the fact that he was quite a standoffish, kind of stuck-up character, which I felt made him less relatable. Yellow Zio Lion, this is Leo. I did like, he kind of had this like playful charm to him.
Yeah, like a tiger cub was basically, or a lion cub, you know.
Wait,
Like
what did you think of Yellow, Green, and Red?
Yellow was pretty cool. I love his hairdo. It's like he's
Yeah,
a
the
Jamaican man.
the dreads, of course.
Oh my god, it was just awesome. I love that. And then Tusk, yeah, I remember him being pretty tough, like him being kind of an a-hole to people, you know what I mean? The girls and stuff, they're pretty good.
The girls are pretty good. Yeah, well done.
Like
I mean, this is your first review of Sentai, and the girls are pretty good. I mean, alright, I mean, I'll let you talk about Red in a minute, but like, if you're going to go on to the girls right now, on the off, like, they were both pretty, they were both, like, they weren't too fan service-esque. I mean, maybe Amu, our white tiger, she was like, she was kind of that playful character. Like again, kind of the way, if anything, the way you describe Leo is probably the way that I'd describe Amu. To be fair, Sela, Blue Shark, I would say, I did kind of, that tomboyish persona she had was kind of neither here nor there. But I think one thing that the fans picked up on that really stuck in my mind is the fact that she had really weird teeth, which is ironic because she was a shark. So have you had any thoughts on those three characters?
I feel like they could have developed. I do know that Sela, I think, had some family on the other side of the world, you know.
Yeah.
And like that, she often kept on going back to them and wishing they were here with her, you know.
Yeah, I remember. That.
She's like the most homesick of them all, if I'm not mistaken.
Remember that. Okay.
Yeah, and I felt like I don't think Leo and Tusk were like that really cared for. I think they were like, oh my god, this is a new world. We gotta explore the world, guys. We gotta explore. And did you know? Oh, let's not forget they had tails on the back.
Yeah, there was a lot of gag. Yeah, I mean the series did a lot of gags with those tails. Like I get. But I think when it comes to gags and stuff, it's definitely about the uncle. Like, this guy was crazy. This guy was insane. And it's like, I'll be honest, I laughed out loud to this guy, so I can't really diss him too much, but I'm just like, what were they thinking? Like, there's always these instances, like, whether it be the whole series or not, but I think, at least for me, with such a bland, like, where I felt Zyuohger was quite bland, I did kind of like this uncle. He'd just be like, they'd go into the treehouse, and he'd just be like crawling around pretending to be whatever animal inspiring him that week.
Designing, that he was pretty funny about that. Now I remember what he used to do. Yeah, he was pretty. I liked his character, and I do. I'm kind of glad they made him a ranger near the end. A bit unofficial, of course.
But all right, but just the two, the other two rangers quickly before we talk about the villains. Like I will say, Zyo the World. I absolutely love this character.
Me too.
The most. And then Bud, who was played by Keix's actor, I preferred it more when he was like being the mysterious guy that was like like those cliches, mystery scenes. But I think when they finally revealed him in that, I mean, he looked cool.
Mhm.
But I'll be honest, I wasn't too hot on his character.
I liked the connection he had to Yamato's dad because I heard it was during a time like basically Yamato got in like a fight with the dad because he wasn't home for when his mom died, and it turned out the person he was helping was actually Bado, and I did actually
Yeah, I kind
enjoy.
of remember that. I do remember that, like that sort of backstory. But
Yeah,
it was just kind of a bit twisted, in my opinion.
and also I actually me and a couple of friends when we were reviewing Zyuohger years ago, we were saying that Misao he might have been actually autistic because of the way of him like freaking out in social like situations and stuff.
But I think for me, it was kind of more
Like
about how he was like really sort of eager to be part of the group, but then
I think
was
it's
left
because
out.
he
That's
had
definitely me as
autism.
a child, definitely.
Like I think he had autism because he would have freakouts and stuff and like meltdown and shut off from the world, you know. And
Which is
I think
kind
that's
of you don't get that too often in Sentai, admittedly.
yeah, and that's what I liked about it. I'm like, bruh, if this ain't fucking me at time, I'm like, damn son. I'm like, bruh. Like I resonated with him and I enjoyed him quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Sure. And the villains thoughts.
This was probably one of the best villains we had in quite a while.
Ooh.
But it did get ridiculous near the end. I'll admit with Genus and stuff. But I did enjoy Kuban. I also remember the hunter. I forgot what his name. Yeah.
But that's it. When it came to the monsters of the week, I kind of felt they were all a bit done before. And then even when it came to the assistant, she was just a rip off of the Go Kaija one as well as Melee. I think they even used
Mhm.
they recycled the same suit. But then,
Mhm.
like, I think his name was Genis Summer, the actual main general. He was the guy that I did kind of like, especially the look. I mean, even if
Mhm.
you look at like today's Kamen Rider Zero One, we've got Kamen Rider Thousa. Like Thousa and Genis Summer both actually share quite a similar look, in my opinion. So I definitely
Mhm.
liked the look of the general, and he had like this psychotic sitting on his throne. And I just want to be entertained. I mean, that kind of seemed a bit psychotic and twisted at the same. Yeah, like psychotic and twisted. So I've got to give that props somewhat.
Mhm. I'll admit too, and but I do think they did let them. They didn't really give them an arc per se. You know what I mean? I wish we gotten a little bit more of a
That's it. We
villain
didn't
arc.
get. We could have had so much more detail on these villains, but I think when it came to Zyuohger and onwards, like the amount of detail they disclose on the villains, minus today's Kira Major, where we've got a lot of some decent detail about our
Mhm.
villains. I would say, I mean, again, this is a bit general. I mean, especially like the plight to Ryu Soldier, definitely Lou v Pat. Like I would say, like everything from Zyuohger to Ryu Soldier, they went really shallow on the villain backstory, which I think at least in Kira Major they're kind of rectifying a little bit.
Mhm.
So, what did you think of the progression of the story and plot for Zyuohger?
It was alright. Like it could have been a little bit better, just a slight bit, but it was able to continuously keep people interested. You know what I mean? Unlike Ninja, which completely failed at what its plot was. It was a complete horror show, and Georgia kind of rectified what Ninja should have been. You know what I mean?
No, see, like I would definitely disagree with you on that. Like, I mean, I'll talk about Ninja briefly. Like Ninja, I definitely like the whole, the one is going to be the supreme ninja or whatever it was. The one
Hmm.
is going to be one who's going to come out on top and have the big disc, whatever it was. Whereas Zyuohger, it was more like, oh, let's just get the cubes and go back to the animal kingdom and stuff.
Hmm.
I didn't feel there was much of the main plot. I mean, like subplots, like again, this whole talk about other world, but I would say the world story was definitely good. It was dark,
Yeah, and I
it
got a
kind
lot of
of,
common
and it
rider vibes.
resonated with that psychotic nature of Genis Summer. Whereas I'll still say like the whole, Bado story and the whole, finding the ancient power of the whale thing. Bearing in mind we had something similar in Go Onja, I just felt it was so done before.
Mhm. And I don't like, and him getting all these power ups and stuff that he only ended up using
Well,
like.
see, we'll go on to talking about power-ups now, so I'll do this in the reverse order that I intended. So when it comes to the power-ups, I mean, again, the whale, I like the look of the whale, but the whole story behind it, I was like, meh, done before. But the gorilla power-up, where he was all padded out, that I actually
Bottle.
No, I'm talking about Yamato's gorilla form, like Zyuohger.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the guy who gave
Whereas
him that form.
Bado's everyday look, where he was kind of like he had the goggles, which we get with Kirama Silver. But if anything, their looks do look somewhat similar, apart from the fact that Kirama Silver has a lot of silver. But I'll still say like Bado's look was actually pretty cool. Like it kind of gave me the Naruto kind of vibe without being nothing like that.
Like the ninja, yeah.
Yeah, but like, but like the sort of shaggy clothing. I mean, because Sella and Leo also had shaggy clothing, like that Rastafarian look, and that kind of African vibe. So I was kind of like I did feel in two different worlds, literally two different worlds about it. But I mean, like Yamato, he had like a generic look, kind of like explorer, vet, Indiana Jones, kind of look. Whereas the unique look was Tusk, which I felt, I mean, his look on his own looked great, like that kind of polished suit look. But in this series, it just kind of felt like it didn't fit. That's just my opinion.
Some of the suits were like not great, but I really did enjoy Jewel of the World's like body. You know what I mean? Just having the three different animals and stuff.
The armor and the fact that the helmet had like 3 different modes, that was awesome. But I'll say like I can't even remember what Misato looked like without the armor. Like I can't, like it's not like because like I guess very few characters have like they change their everyday clothes, but I can't even remember what his were. But the armor, like again, the 3 stripes, the black, gold, grey, I think it was, or black, gold, silver. Like it's because it represented Rhino. I've got the other 2. Where it represented Crocodile was one of them. And
Rhino, Crocodile, and trying to remember the dance because the dance actually does mention the animals.
I don't know. Anyway, but the 3 animals he had. Yeah, it's still kind of cool. It was kind of an original thing, and I'm going to use this to go on to the weapons. Like, his little torch thing was kind of cool.
Bro, him just touching the foot at the end. And
that's cool. It's cool. It's a good Hisatsu attack as well. I mean, like, because when it comes to like the devices, I mean, he had his unique one, and then the rest of the guys, they had that Rubik's Cube thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not I remember. I mean, even though I didn't touch on this at the beginning, but where they could have, like it sounded a good idea when they did the whole reveal for Zyuohger, but I just think that in practice, it was garbage. That's just my opinion. Like it just I don't know what I was expecting, but I thought, oh, Rubik's Cube, that sounds cool, and then they're just doing this. I'm just like, what is that? But then again, that's exactly how I felt about the mecha, oddly enough. So I'll talk about the mecha bit. I'll let you jump in. Like the mecha, like again, it's like, oh, they're doing a Minecraft thing. They're doing this stacking on top thing. It sounded.
And near the end, it got ridiculous.
It's like, this is it. Like eventually, they just had like this big man thing. I'm just like, what are you doing? So. Any thoughts on the mecha as well as its
it could have been so much better if they had made like them a little bit like more bendable, And
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what we were expecting. I mean, to be fair, like if they were basing it off of Minecraft, they weren't going to get that.
Yeah, like there wasn't that much they could do with that,
Oh man, but
yeah.
What do you remember? What do you remember of the weapons?
I remember the whip thing of Yamato.
See, because
really
Yamato,
cool.
it was kind of like a sword that was also a whip.
And we don't really see like double like a sword combined with another like weapon beside the gun. You know what I mean? You don't see that very often, and I really did enjoy that that part of the thing where he'd be like, "What the? Whoosh, whoosh," and basically whip the monsters into shape. And I would love to have seen like a very funny like dominatrix thing he could have done if they like as a joke.
I don't know. You gotta remember it's a kids show, innit? But like
Yeah.
the only other weapon, because I don't remember weapons for the others, but the only other weapon of note that I remember is Whale, because he had like a big handgun thing.
Yeah, the big handgun thing, that was basically the team cannon, because they removed the team cannon thing from like the Tokuger, so.
Well, I think Toki. Well, no, Tokuger was before. So, what key episodes stood out? What episode stood out for you?
The Gokaiger episodes are probably like the best, and the
They weren't the episodes. They were like specials that I think.
No, they were episode 30 and 31. They were considered them the like the 3000th episode.
No, because I remember they did something like. Oh wait, yeah. You're talking about when the main cast of Gokaiger appeared, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I do remember those, actually. I mean, because, I was going to talk later on about, the YouTube specials where it was just Gokai Red trying to say, oh, you're not good enough to be a Super Sentai. And then at the end, oh,
nah.
you're congratulations, I recognise you as the 40th Super Sentai. Like, it's the producer or something. But for me, episode-wise, I mean, it's a bit of a mundane sort of filler episode, but I do remember when Sella and Leo were like facing off, because Sella's all like, oh, I know I'm a girl, but I know you're going easy on me, kind of thing. So I do remember that episode. And then, kind of arc-wise, I would definitely say the world's story was amazing.
Just like that story arc of him being captured and tortured and stuff, and because of that he has PTSD, autism, you know? There's a lot of things.
No, I mean, to be fair, those scenes were psychotic.
And then the three animals as well combining with him, and they're like all jokes and stuff.
No, because this is it, because he carried that guilt of their deaths, I think.
No, they were still a part of them because they were still.
Oh yeah, no. I think they were dead because like the ghosts were like in his head. And like just randomly, it'd just be like, oh, I think this and I think that. So that was very. I wouldn't call it PTSD. It was like sort of multiple personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we're getting into real dodgy territory, sort of like slating all these different mental conditions.
Yeah, because
if anything, to flip our ignorance on its head, maybe it was kind of a way to bring focus to mental health, right?
Maybe, yeah, because in Japan they don't really talk about it that much, you know what I mean?
No, because they're so concerned. Because again, it's kind of the same in the UK, but I think us being part of Europe, we are kind of a little bit more liberal in that. So I don't like. I mean, again, I love Japan so much. So if anything like, I mean, again, like even though this is a kids show that's not super popular these days, but I would say like I mean, on one hand, this is quite psychotic for a kids show, but then again, a lot of the kids shows and kids anime over there is generally psychotic. So, like, their standards are a lot higher than the West, put it that way.
Yeah, and I can see why. Like, they always have like good, like better shows than us. Cause,
they do. To go.
They don't talk down.
Like to go on to the next subject at the same time, like. You look at, say, the setting for the villains on the spaceship, like, again, that even though they consider it low budget, like, it's really really fleshed out, like, the way that spaceship looked, the way that Genosama was sat on his throne.
And drinking that wine, because I think that wine was actually blood, like human blood or something.
I vaguely I don't know, I remember something, but I'll remember something.
But I do gotta bring up the thing.
But like, I would say like the settings as well. Like, I love the setting of the Animal Kingdom. Like, where you had like this big cube thing in the air. So like the settings, like the locations they use. I'd probably more on set based.
I enjoyed the treehouse base. That was pretty fun.
Actually, I've not written about that, but it was fun. It was decent. It was very low budget, and but I think when it came to that setting, I mean, it was decent. But I think what made it more unique and more special is the fact that you had this crazy uncle just kind of popping out of nowhere
Oh,
in like
dressed
in
up
a
as
horse's head or
animals.
something. So, what do you remember? Do you remember anything about the movies? Because I don't.
I remember the movies being like there was like a special like door that they had to
Oh,
activate
they
and
always
like
did. I think it was like a rip off of the giraffe one. I think. I can't.
yeah, and like basically they combined with that to destroy a villain, and there was like
But
some
this is it. But
character.
again, like.
But I heard she got back with him in the Zyuohger Returns movie or something. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I vaguely
where
remember that.
bestiality of the reality is my joke for it because he's actually
Brilliant.
human.
But like I do again, like as I mentioned earlier, like when it came to the specials, I think it was a YouTube thing, where the Gokai Red was like, "Oh, I don't think you're cut out to be a Sentai," and then of course it ends with him saying, "Yeah, well done, number 40."
hmm Yeah, but I do gotta say, I gotta bring it back to Gina Sama. The way he would defeat it and stuff, like or him being made up like all these little cells of like, multiple things. I did not like that at all.
Oh,
Like it just
I mean,
something about it just
I
felt
wouldn't say
like it
I
was a
didn't
ripoff.
like it. I'd say it was like it wasn't very original, but what you gonna do?
But it was like a hive mind sort of like he was combined, and they basically made a grave mind of him. You know what I mean? He was a grave mind of all these
Yeah, I get you.
cells or whatever, and it felt weird. You know what I mean? But I did enjoy the cube guy. I don't know his name. I did like how he
No, because he
also
had
had
a
like
big story, didn't he? I do.
yeah, like he was a hunter or something, and he ended up like being so tough, they had to basically like find his weak
Rein him
spot,
in.
which was inside of
Hmm.
his body, because he could get defeated multiple times and then come back, and
Yeah, this
that
is
came
it. So,
back.
like, talking about the fighting scene, so, like, even when it came to, I can't remember his name, I think it was a rip-off of the Gokaiger commander.
Yeah,
Like, that when it comes to the fight scenes, he had good fight scenes, but then the thing about the fight scenes in Zyuohger is they were mainly CGI based. So you had this cube guy who was like, boof, and then you had, like, red and orange, I'm just going to call them by colours now, red and orange just flying around. And I'll say, and then you had like the whale with its power pew 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 cannon thing. But I'd say Leo actually had like a little bit more of the sort of twirly twirly, and Sella was a tomboyish. I can twirly twirly just as much as you.
hmm
But otherwise, it was very CGI based, in my opinion.
yeah. Like I do like where they maybe put a little bit more budget into like using practical, a bit more practical. Like if they could have them like pop out. But I do gotta admit, when they did the mecha fights and stuff, whenever the monsters would explode, you would see like little styrofoam like tubes and stuff explode with the explosion, which I did enjoy that a little bit. So
Yeah, I can agree with that. But from fighting choreography to the music choreography, that dance, I did not like it.
I loved it, man.
No,
I
I'm
don't think I've
sorry.
ever gotten so
Because I
lit.
think no,
Like,
no, 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 no. All right, go on.
dude, me and you like that's the shit you get lit to in the club. Like
No.
seriously, no, yeah,
No,
you didn't
no.
see the whole time.
No, I mean Ninja. Because bear in mind, Ninja was the year before. Their dance was amazing. I did that dance at Toei Movie Studios in Kyoto last year.
What did they say about it? Were they like, get out?
When it came to Zyuohgers, I'm just like, yeah, you just. I mean, it felt. I mean, to be fair, they're all childish. To be fair, because it's for kids, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I get that. But to me, Zyuohger just felt super childish. Like it was just like, oh, da 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 Shaku, da 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 lion, and then Elephanto. It's like really. I mean, to be fair, this is kind of why I have issue with Kira Major's dance this year, because it's like they just, but like the chorus dance, like the hook dance to Kira Major's semi decent, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but
but for Zyuohger, it was just a mess. I just and then it's like when you got like loads of animals and different verses, it just becomes long and complicated, and
I enjoyed it. Like, I was one of my favorite themes, but that's because I like Kyoryuger as well, and you hate that song as well.
Kyoryuger, see, again, like, that was corny. Whereas, like, for me, like, if I'm thinking of dances, I mean, because really, Abba Ranger had, like, a minimal dance, really. And then, like, I did like Q Ranger. I did, you know, like, what was the one more, like, Ryu Soldiers was really good. But, no, that's the thing, like, Ryu Soldiers was really good. I think there's one or two others.
There was Go Busters.
Thing is, like, Go Busters 1 was good, but it was complicated because I'm still trying to that dance. I'm not gonna lie. But still, I will say, for Zero, so to get back onto topic, Zyuohger, I did not like the choreography. I did not like the music. Like, I mean, all right. So we'll talk about the music. So like the end theme, yeah, I thought it was bland, and then 3 verses of all the different animals just becomes long and complicated.
Well, no, there's only 2 verses.
When it comes to OP, it's kind of like a nice OP. Like, I don't think it's that great. I won't rate it in the top. But on its own, it's kind of like a nice da 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 da
da da da.
That's about it.
It's done by the guy who did the Hurricane Joe theme and the Kyoryuger.
No. You see, if you're going to mention Hurricane Joe, Shushu to Sancho is an amazing track. That is an
it is. And the guy who sang that.
But I'll say Zyuohger, it's not amazing. It's nice. That's all I've got to say on it, really.
Yeah, and also the guy who sang Kira Mater's opening theme, he was the guy who did the ending theme for this show.
Oh,
Yohei Onishi, yeah.
Right, so moving on. So what did you think of like the final arcs and climb? I think you've already covered this really. The final arcs and
yeah, it just, I don't know. I felt kind of rushed. The last episode was basically Deus Ex Machina with the combination of all 3 forms and stuff. It just, I did not feel like they put that much effort into it, you know what I mean? And I do it like, and having the world basically against Gina be like, with the power of the motherfucking earth, we destroy you, bam!
For me, like, yeah, the ultimate ending, I just felt it was a bit surreal. Like, I mean, because they spent, bearing in mind I mean, I know this is like a fictional reality, but bearing in mind we live in a world where people with different colours can't even get along. So the fact that there's most of the series is like hiding animal people, and now animal people are walking around. It just felt a bit weird. Like,
yeah, I did kind of feel
because you can't really do continuity with it. That's the worst part. So there's animal people walking about. You can't do continuity with it. But
it's kind of like Dino Charge when they combined with the dinosaurs.
Oh God, no, that was. I mean, because Dino Charge was amazing 2 years, but that ending was awful. But but one thing I'm always saying is how do you end a good series? So finally, would you recommend Zyuohger?
I actually would. Like, I think it's a pretty decent series to get into Sentai and stuff. Like I enjoyed it. But there are some like negative stuff about it. But I did actually enjoy it. Like, you know what I mean? And I definitely recommend.
I mean, like, I think it could potentially be a good entry point, but because it's just not that great, I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna recommend it. Like,
yeah, I strongly disagree with you, but that's
I don't know. I think it depends. Like, if I know, like, again, if I know someone's into Minecraft, maybe, or Legos.
Okay, guys, I want to thank you all for watching our series review of Dobutsu Sentai Zyuohger. You can follow me at Dragon Zeron on YouTube and Instagram, as well as Patreon. I'll be doing some Toku stuff. And then here's Toku Bros, which is what this channel is. We're on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook at Toku Bros, and on Twitter at Toku Bros 71. And then we have RyuKiva, where you can follow him at Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, Facebook, and RyuKiva WordPress, which he will be adding some more content very soon. So be on the lookout for that.
I love that. I love how you've done this in outro. But I will also add that this coming week, Series 2 of Toku Unboxing comes to an end. So just stand by and wait for that to drop, as well as the week after. So getting full into September is RYUKIVA'S Tokusatsu Chart Rundown. This is me talking about every series and every franchise for Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, Sentai's last 30 years, so that's 5-man to Ryu Soldier. I will be ranking these from bottom to top, and they will be in several parts because I've got so much to cover. So basically, you take this Zyuohger review, I'm going to be trying to do everything we've just done in under 2 minutes for each series, because there's just so much to cover. But yes, that has been our Zyuohger review. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Fish through the cam.
Wait,
See you next time.